Mr. Secretary, there's one car manufacturer that seems conspicuously absent from this event today, and that is Tesla. And I'm curious why.
Previously, Elon Musk hosted Saturday Night Live while Tesla showcased and started deliveries of the Model S Plaid. And with exceptional problem solving, Tesla navigated their way through the semi-chip shortage as other manufacturers had to shut production. On August the 5th, the White House held an event to discuss climate change and EVs.
Now a look at President Biden's plans on climate change from two perspectives. Reducing emissions from cars and trucks is a big part of this. Gasoline-powered vehicles are the biggest source of emissions here in the U.S., accounting for more than a quarter of the total. Today, President Biden laid out new rules, agreements, and timelines to try to cut that percentage down significantly.
Judy, a fundamental piece of that plan is getting people to buy electric vehicles and other so-called zero-emission vehicles. Before driving around the White House grounds in an electric Jeep, President Biden said he wants half of all new vehicles sold in 2030 to be zero-emission cars and trucks.
They're a vision of the future that is now beginning to happen. A future of the automobile industry that is electric. Battery electric, plug-in hybrid electric, fuel cell electric. It's electric, and there's no turning back. The question is whether we'll lead or fall behind in the race for the future.
And yet, with all the experts and industry leaders at the White House event, the bigger talking point was, why wasn't Elon Musk and Tesla invited? I mean, they are, after all, the global leader in electric vehicles. And while this was strange, the Tesla Twitterverse definitely had some fun with the topic. Even Elon thought that it was odd that Tesla didn't get an invite.
Mr. Secretary, there's one car manufacturer that seems conspicuously absent from this event today, and that is Tesla. And I'm curious why.
I'm not sure, but what I know is that you're seeing so many leaders in industry. You got newer companies, and you've got the legacy companies that are both saying that we've got to move in this direction.
But I don't know if did you see Elon Musk's tweet? He said, we have it on the screen here. He said, yeah, it seems odd that Tesla wasn't invited.
No, I haven't seen that.
While Ford and GM were being praised by the US president, GM soon after announced a major recall.
General Motors recently announced a big recall for its electric vehicle, the Chevy Bolt. The problem is the car's battery can suddenly catch on fire.
And while GM now says it's found a fix, it will likely take months to repair all those cars.
Starnes says he knew that late last year General Motors had recalled earlier models of the Bolt after several spontaneously caught on fire. But GM said they fixed that problem with the car's battery, and the dealer assured Starnes he had nothing to worry about. But then, late last month, after more cars caught on fire, GM expanded the recall to cover every Bolt ever made. In all, more than 140,000 vehicles, including the two that Starnes and his wife now own.
Gosh, that was livid.
To reduce the risk of fire, GM urged Bolt owners to drive their cars less and take shorter trips so they wouldn't drain the battery. And on top of that...
Well, they told us it's best to park 50 feet away from any structure, not park inside of a garage, and don't park, beside any other cars.
So while GM faced some serious issues, Tesla was getting ready to host an AI day in which they had hoped to recruit the world's best talent in the field.
Artificial intelligence has long been a big part of what Elon Musk has used to help grow Tesla and the technology that drives the Tesla vehicles. And what the analysts are expecting is for him to say, this is how we're using it, this is where we're going with it, and this is why we believe that we are a leader in terms of incorporating AI into the development of our vehicles. It will be interesting to see what they have to say tonight.
So what we want to show today is that Tesla is much more than an electric car company, that we have deep AI activity in hardware, on the inference level, on the training level. I think arguably the leaders in real-world AI as it applies to the real world.
Okay, hi everyone, welcome. My name is Andre, and I lead the vision team here at Tesla Autopilot, and I'm incredibly excited to be here to kick off this section, giving you a technical deep dive into the Autopilot stack and showing you all the under-the-hood components that go into making the car drive all by itself. So here I'm showing the video of the raw inputs that come into the stack, and then neural network processes that into the vector space. And you are seeing parts of that vector space rendered in the instrument cluster on the car. What I find kind of fascinating about this is that we are effectively building a synthetic animal from the ground up. So the car can be thought of as an animal. It moves around, it senses the environment, and acts autonomously and intelligently. And we are building all of the components from scratch in-house. So we are building, of course, all of the mechanical components of the body, the nervous system, which is all of the electrical components, and for our purposes, the brain of the autopilot, and specifically for this section, the synthetic visual cortex. So here are some of the results. So on the left, we are seeing what we had before, and on the right, we're now seeing significantly improved predictions coming directly out of the neural net. This is a multi-camera network predicting directly in vector space, and you can see that it's basically night and day. You can actually drive on this. And this took some time and some engineering and incredible work from the AI team to actually get this to work and deploy and make it efficient in the car.
During the presentation, the Tesla team went into great depth to outline the progress that was being made regarding full self-driving, and also showcased the D1 chip that powers Tesla's Dojo supercomputer. And then it was clear that with all this computing power and advancements in artificial intelligence, that a new application was now possible. One that could stand, walk, and even dance. What's going on here? Is this even real?
Unlike Dojo, obviously that was not real. So Dojo is real. The Tesla bot will be real. But basically, if you think about what we're doing right now with the cars, Tesla is arguably the world's biggest robotics company because our cars are like semi-sentient robots on wheels. And with the full self-driving computer, essentially the inference engine on the car, which will keep evolving, obviously, and Dojo, and all of the neural nets recognizing the world, understanding how to navigate through the world, it kind of makes sense to put that onto a humanoid form. And we're also quite good at sensors and batteries and actuators. So we think we'll probably have a prototype sometime next year that basically looks like this. And it's intended to be friendly, of course, and navigate through a world built for humans and eliminate dangerous, repetitive, and boring tasks. We're setting it such that it is, at a mechanical level, at a physical level, you can run away from it. And most likely overpower it. Yeah, it's around 5'8", has sort of a screen where the head is for useful information, but it's otherwise basically got the Autopilot system in it, so it's got 8 cameras and full self-driving computer, and making use of all of the same tools that we use in the car. So, I mean, things that I think that are really hard about having a useful humanoid robot is, can it navigate through the world without being explicitly trained? I mean, without explicit, like, line-by-line instructions. Can you talk to it and say, you know, please pick up that bolt and attach it to the car with that wrench, and it should be able to do that. So, join our team and help build this.
It was no surprise that following the event, the Tesla bot got all the headlines.
Andrew, okay, this thing is not rolled out yet. They haven't even started building it, so who knows if it'll ever happen. But if it does, is this a threat to all humanity?
That's not the way that Elon Musk was portraying it yesterday. As you noted, he said that it could be easily overpowered, which I guess is some comfort. But he also said that you could probably easily run away from it too. The top speed of the robot would only be 5 miles per hour.
Andrew, I run maybe at 6 miles an hour, but guess what? I get tired. The robot doesn't. So I can outrun it for short distances. And then I stand with my hands on my knees, catching my wind, and the Tesla robot comes up and tears my head off.
So while the Tesla bot got all the headlines, Tesla did achieve their primary outcome, which was to help recruit the world's best talent in artificial intelligence.
And we're seeing a tremendous response. So daily applicants by role. As you can see, it's basically, you know, on the y-axis there. and then after AI Day, that's the AI applicants increased dramatically. So I thought that was a very successful day. Team did a great job.
And then, during the shareholder meeting, we got some major breaking news.
We begin with breaking news from Tesla. Just about an hour ago, CEO Elon Musk announcing he is moving company headquarters out of the Bay Area and out of California.
Elon Musk made that big announcement during a shareholder meeting this afternoon.
And then I'm excited to announce that we're moving our headquarters to Austin, Texas.
But it's not all bad news. Musk also told the shareholders that he plans to expand the operations at the Fremont Tesla factory. He wants to see production increases of 50% there. However, he said there's just a limit to how big you can scale in the Bay Area.
We're just hitting the sides of the bowl. I mean, if you go to our Fremont factory, it is jammed. I mean, it is jammed. It's like, whoa. And when we first went in there, it was like, we're like a kid in his parents' shoes. It was ridiculous, like tiny S and giant factory. And now we're like a spam in a can here. Like, how do we fit more stuff?
Musk has threatened to move Tesla in the past. Remember, about a year ago, when he was upset that Alameda County threatened to shut down the Fremont factory due to COVID-19 restrictions.
At the start of October, Tesla was about to report deliveries for Q3, with estimates being that Tesla would deliver somewhere between 220 and 227,000 vehicles, which again would be another record. So how will Tesla do?
These were better than expected deliveries in the third quarter for Tesla. And when you say, well, how much better? Well, the street was expecting them to deliver anywhere between 220 and 227,000 vehicles in the third quarter. They wound up delivering 241,300 vehicles. That easily beat the consensus estimates out there. Just like in the second quarter and also in the first quarter, the priority was Model 3 and Model Y. 94% of the vehicles delivered in the third quarter were those two models. The supply chain issues, they did hurt Tesla in the third quarter. Elon Musk talked about it early in the quarter. They made mention of it in the delivery report. But the curious thing is that they've been able to manage the semiconductor situation far better than a lot of other automakers around the world. So when you look at their full year deliveries, the consensus continues to move higher. It was 860,000 vehicles expected for a full year a couple of weeks ago. Last week, it was up to 878. Now the consensus on FactSet is for 883,000 this year from Tesla. That is the consensus at this point.
Following the surprise delivery numbers, Tesla stock pushed close to all-time new highs.
Tesla, we've got earnings out this week. The stock up for 6 straight days.
Tesla is killing it on every category they're in a very difficult time for auto manufacturers. Tesla isn't having any of these issues. So we've seen record deliveries and we're going to see record profits. But I think the overall trend for Tesla is so enormously positive. And for many people, they're finally coming into the full vision of what Elon is building in energy and storage, along with the full self-driving and AI, and then lastly with EV production. So it's really almost like 3 separate massive opportunities in one. Very, very bullish time for Tesla. No other big cap stock is growing as fast as Tesla, and the opportunity is limitless.
Ross wasn't the only one bullish on Tesla.
You know what I think is probably going to have the most likely blowout quarter next week? Tesla, that's who. When you see brokerage firm after brokerage firm raising numbers before an earnings report, it's usually a sign that the numbers are going to be insanely good. And that's why I would bet on Tesla. I hate to use that term bet when it comes to stocks, but Tesla's a good bet.
So with expectations riding high, can Tesla beat expectations again?
Let's begin, though, with those earnings we got out from Tesla. Record revenue pushing Tesla shares higher today. We are seeing a big pop. The company posted $1.6 billion in profit in the quarter on revenue of $13.8 billion, but it did warn of supply shortages and congestion at the ports, potentially slowing production at its factories.
And here's the stat that's going to get a lot of attention. Automotive gross margins ex ZEV credits, those zero-emission vehicle credits, what they get from other automakers for their electric vehicle credits. Most were expecting it to be somewhere in the range of 24.6, maybe 24.7%. Came in at 28.4%. 8.8%. But those are really strong automotive gross margins.
But I think what was most impressive to me is the gross margins. The gross margins are approaching 30%. Just to put that in perspective, that is 3 times the gross margin level at GM and about 6 times the gross margin level at Ford. And they seem to be less affected by supply chain issues, and they are, because they control their own destiny largely on their chips. So they are, their sales, as you said, were up more than 70% year over year, versus GM and Ford, which are seeing declines of around 30% year over year. So I think there was a lot to be impressed with, and they're sitting now on $16 billion of cash. So they're emerging as a formidable competitor.
So with Tesla performing exceptionally well, the media had to bring up some concerns. And will it be? Elon said something weird on Twitter. Tesla can't make money without credits. Competition is coming. The answer?
Hey John, it's Brian Sullivan. I know we talk about Tesla all the time. Let's talk about Rivian, the F-150 Lightning, the Lucid, the Mercedes EQ, the Audi e-tron, the e-Pace from Jaguar. Is there any real competitive threat to Tesla's EV dominance right now?
It's a great question, Brian. I think what the competition does is it opens more eyes to EVs. And right now, Tesla's got a dominant share in the U.S. They're 65% market share in the U.S., 21% worldwide. But I think that's in the context of Tesla only having 1% market share in the global car market, and EVs only having 4% market share. So if you consider, EVs going to potentially 50% of cars sold, that's already happening in nations around the world. Switzerland just last quarter reported that more than 50% of cars sold there were either electric or hybrid. That 4% has the ability to grow 15 to 25 times. So I think we're at the very early innings of market growth. And as the market grows, even if Tesla's share shrinks, their gross volume is going to increase. And so I think we're at the beginning of what will be a multi-decade growth story for electric vehicles around the world.
In the next episode, the battle between Tesla and the Biden administration heats up, while we also get some major news that sends Tesla's valuation to over $1 trillion. If you enjoyed the episode and want to support the channel, Patreon is the best way to do so. And as always, all content is for educational and entertainment purposes and not financial advice. So till next time, I'll catch you guys soon.